Hello, everyone. We are live. So it looks like we've already got a couple of people online. Could you just drop a comment in the comments and let me know? Just say hi and let me know what you do and if you are in fact interested in writing a book. Hi, Patty. Welcome. We've got my sister Janice on the stream. Amazing. Thanks so much. Hey, Nikita. We've got Iman. Hey, Iman. Awesome. So I can see that a lot of us joined right on the dot, 6 o'clock on the dot. So since we've got about 40 people online, I will start with an intro about what this live stream is about and what I hope you guys will get out of it. So as some of you might know, I recently created a book series with my wife targeted at young kids who want to learn shorter language. And from this experience, I realized just how far technology has gone in the past few months, and that all the barriers of entry that I've always had to creating a children's book, all of a sudden I didn't have anymore. So that was amazing to be able to go from zero to publishing a kid's book in literally less than a month. So what I wanted to show you today is exactly how I did that, how you go from writing the story, doing the illustrations or the images of the book, and publishing it online. I'm so happy so many people are here. Hey, Felipe, been playing with AI for a couple of months. Very interested. Amazing. Yeah, I'm interested to see how much of what I've done everyone here has actually dabbled with, because it's an extension of probably some of the experiences you've already had with generative AI. Awesome. So we're going to get started. I will switch to this presentation, make it a full screen. Okay, I hope you can see my little guy here. If you can see the little guy, say hi. Okay. I think y'all can see the little guy. He usually helps me with these kind of presentations. He's like Mini Batsy. So everyone say hi to Mini Batsy. Awesome. Thanks, Mini Batsy. So what we're going to start with is basically a breakdown of how to design a book with AI. And this is specifically generative AI. So things like ChatGPT that pretty much most of you would have heard about, and Midjourney, which is a text to image generation tool. So high level, there are about 5 steps you need to do. First of all, you need to write the story. So you don't need AI to write the story. It depends on the kind of book you're writing. But I will explain why ChatGPT was critical when it came time for us to do our book. And the next thing you do is create the images. So here I've used Midjourney, but there are a lot of text to image generative AI tools that are actually now available. Midjourney is the one I'll be showing you guys today because that's the one I'm most familiar with. And from what I've seen, it's quite powerful and reasonably priced as well. Another crucial part is the layout and design. So I was fortunate that I'm actually, as you all know, I'm a designer. So I could do all of these 5 steps on my own. But I appreciate that a lot of you would never have laid out a book before in your life. So what I would recommend here at this step is to actually get a freelance designer to help you with the book layout, laying out the templates. Because even though I've done it before, it's still quite a process to get your book published on like Amazon or Lulu, because they're very strict guidelines as to how the book should be laid out, what the margins should be, what the bleed should be around the edges, all that kind of stuff, technical stuff. So yeah, it might require multiple submissions before it's accepted. So yeah, highly recommend to work with a professional here. I will also explain a way you can do it without having a pro help you, but I wouldn't recommend that option. So once you've got your layout and design done, which includes getting your ISBN. So an ISBN is essentially an international standard book number. And this is what you need to publish any book, whether it's online or print. You need an ISBN number. Lucky for us, Amazon and Lulu do give this for free when you're distributing with them. And if you're using them as a print-on-demand service, you get that ISBN for free. So that was also quite amazing, because otherwise, I think it costs around $85, I believe, if you're just buying one on your own. But we'll get to that. The next thing is, once you've done your layout, you submit it to Amazon or Lulu. And then once it's accepted there, all you have to do is click publish, and then you are live. So I feel like that's like not really the easy part, but it's not the difficult part. The difficult part is actually getting people to pay money and buy your book, right? I think that's why we all try to be authors, to actually get some sales. And one thing Robert Kiyosaki, who wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad, one thing he says that's always resonated with me in this journey is he's not a particularly great author, but he's good at selling. And as authors, a lot of the times what you're trying to get is to be a best-selling author, right? So that title tells you a little bit of something about a critical part of this whole process is the selling, right? If you want to be a successful author, then you need to sell in order to become a best-selling author, not necessarily a best writing author. So the best book in the world, if it's not marketed and sold, no one ever gets to know about it, right? So I highly recommend, even before you start the journey to creating the book, think about the strategy you're going to have to actually promote it and sell it. Think of who your target customers are. If there's a niche you're targeting, great. Build a community around that, and we'll speak about that at the end. But yes, so those are the overall like 5 steps. So we will go into next thing, which are the tools you're going to need. So this is end-to-end what you're going to need. Obviously, AI tools are the first 2 there on the left, ChatGPT and Midjourney. If you guys have any questions, by the way, just drop them in the comments. I'm looking at the comments so I can see. Yeah, so if you have any comments, type them in and then I'll answer as I go along. Yes, question is, am I recording it? So it's actually being simulcast on LinkedIn and YouTube. So it is available on my YouTube channel after this. Just look for Batsi Madzonga, I believe, on YouTube. You'll find it. Cool. So the tools you're going to need, first 2 are AI tools. Oh, my mom is here. Hi, Mom. So the first AI tools you're going to need are the text tool, ChatGPT, and Midjourney for images. Again, you can swap these around for any tools you're familiar with. Then for the book layout, you either need Adobe InDesign, which is a professional tool for book layouts, or you can just use Word, because there are Word templates as well. Obviously, the quality is better with InDesign. Photoshop is a bonus one in case you need to edit any of the images that come from Midjourney. Photoshop is a great tool. So Photoshop is obviously a paid tool, but there are free versions of Photoshop out there that you can use, like GIMP. And WordPress, Wix, and Canva are more around the marketing side. So WordPress and Wix would be for setting up your website, and Canva would be for creating any social media promotional artwork you need for LinkedIn or social or anything like that. Even images that go on your website, you might want to create with Canva if you're not a seasoned designer who uses like Pro Tools. Canva is amazing. So that's the tools. Let's get into actually creating the book. So the way we created ours is we started with the story, and a template that I was familiar with before is the hero's journey template. So this is like a storytelling template. that you can use to frame and structure your narrative, to take your protagonist in the story from beginning to end in a way that resonates with people. So this hero's journey template is an amazing template. Um, yeah, we've got a comment from Nilesh. Images can be found on Splash. Yeah, for sure. So if you are creating a book where you can get free images, then definitely websites like Unsplash, Pexels.com, those are great just for getting free images. But the advantage with using AI is you're creating one-off pieces, right? So these are one-off pieces that only you have a copyright to use commercially. So, as for Unsplash and those kind of free image websites, you can get images there, but you're guaranteed that thousands of other people have used that particular image if it's a great image. So yeah, that's why I wouldn't really recommend using stock photos anymore, because AI generates amazing photos for you that are one-off pieces specifically for you. Cool. So back to the journey. So Hero's Journey, I definitely recommend you guys go through and read up on Hero's Journey. It's a great template that we used. So I will segue to showing you how we use this template together with ChatGPT. So if I show you the end result, there we go. All right, so you should now be looking at a Word document. So this is a manuscript that we created, and I'll just show you the beginning, which is what we populated in line with the hero's journey themes. So here you can see the main themes: call to adventure. In our case, the character was called to learn a new language. Refusal of the call, the character is hesitant, doubted their ability to learn the language. So you can see this is like a high level theme based on each of these hero's journey narrative plot points. And you can use this just to write a quick, like summary or synopsis of what happens to your character during that part in the hero's journey. So if you scroll all the way to the end of the journey, which is Return with Elixir, as the hero conquers and returns. In our case, the character has learned a new language, has a deeper understanding of the culture around the language, and she's proud and excited to continue learning. So, yeah, highly recommend the hero's journey template to create your characters and your stories. And switching to ChatGPT and how we use that to create a hero's journey, I will simply say, as an example here, can you write a children's story about a little girl who overcomes stammering. Let me just say overcomes a stutter. And what's cool about ChatGPT is you can give it a way of writing, right? A style of writing based on other authors. So because this is a kid's book, I will say, for example, overcomes a stutter, and then I'll mention the hero's journey template using the hero's journey template. And then the style will be in the style of Dr. Seuss. So if you know Dr. Seuss, it's got a very specific style, like shorts is that rhyme. And you can immediately see that it starts to write a story, gives the little girl a name, the little girl stutters, and it uses the hero's journey template to start crafting that story. So yeah, this was a really useful tool for us because we obviously didn't use it to write the actual book, but we used it in order to understand the triumphs and struggles that our character can go through in order to write, a more engaging book. So yeah, highly recommend you try this out and give it a shot. It'll really accelerate your story writing. Any questions about ChatGPT? Let me know. So that's the hero's journey. I'll move on to the importance of a cover. So we've all heard that, you don't judge a book by its cover. Unfortunately, that's not so true for actual books because that's the first thing you judge it by, you know. So you can tell the quality of the book, specifically what style is going to be inside it, the creative choices the authors made, all those little nuance points come through the cover. That's why you find that when we created this book, I had two cover options that I ran past you guys on LinkedIn. And thank you very much for the overwhelming response on that because it helped us narrow down which cover we were going to go with for the Ariana Learns Shauna series. So in the end, we went with the cover you see here. I think in the end, I feel like it was the right choice because it feels very warm and she's looking right at the audience. So it's very captivating and, it grabs your attention immediately. So I highly recommend. Cover design is just as important as everything else. Come up with a few options, do a few tests with people, ask people what they think, and iterate until you have a perfect cover. Because really, your book is judged by its cover. In terms of payments, on Amazon and Lulu, the reason I put the payment question here is, like I said, we're doing this for commercial reasons sometimes. And you need to set up a PayPal account or a Payoneer account, or Amazon pays you directly to your website, to your bank account, which is great in some cases, but there's also tax implications based on where you live. So just do a bit of research around how these print-on-demand websites will actually pay you out and what are the tax implications, etc. So I'm going to show you Midjourney, which is step 2 in this 4-step slide. So we've talked about defining your story, defining your characters, the style of your book through the cover, etc. So going into how you actually design some of the book, starting with the images. So as I mentioned, I've been using a tool called Midjourney. I will go there now. So Midjourney I don't know if it still is free. It certainly was when I started. But I read an article where they were talking about closing off the free version of it. But you can try and register now. It should be still free. So if you go to midjourney.com and you want to play around with it, I recommend you play around with it first. So you can see all the images that we generated on Midjourney here for our first book in the series. And in order to use Midjourney, there are a lot of tutorials on YouTube especially. And it'll show you exactly how to set up Midjourney within a website called Discord. So Discord is like a social platform where you can create servers and chat to people, essentially, and create communities around some of the properties you work on. So how Discord works is you add the Midjourney bot. You start by adding the Midjourney server, and then you add the bot to your own personal server. So if you don't add the bot to your personal server, then all the images you generate will be visible to everyone else. So for example, I can see what other people are creating with Midjourney because it's on the main Midjourney server. If you add the bot to your own server, then you can start doing things like this, where you can create channels specifically for generating certain images in your book. Let me just stop because I've got a question here. What tips can you give on instructing Midjourney to create great quality images? It seems it misinterprets instructions. If I instruct it to create something unusual, such as an image of a car on the roof of a house. Yeah, this is a really good question, because yeah, it definitely takes a lot of practice. So these tools may seem easy at first, but getting your desired results is definitely not easy, and it takes a lot of trial and error and learning how the prompts work. But we've got a great example here of a prompt we can test out. So let's test it out. So I'll just create a new channel called live stream, and let us ask Midjourney something. So you start with the prompt imagine. That's how Midjourney works. So slash imagine, and based on this question, we want to generate a image of a car on a roof. So we'll start off with the really simple. I feel like the most successful prompts are the simplest. So start by just saying beautiful high res photograph. So immediately I'm telling it that it's a photograph, right? It's not an illustration, it's not a cartoon, it's a photograph. So imagine imagine a beautiful high-res photograph of a, let me say, toy car on a black roof. So that's the first level of the prompt. Beautiful high-res photograph of a toy car on a black roof. If I just press enter on that, so how Midjourney works is they've got servers on, like, on the cloud. So every time you prompt, it allocates you a server, and then you wait your turn, and it generates the image. So I'm a paid customer of Midjourney, so it's like I pay $10 a month. So that's how I'm able to use the images commercially in our book series, because I'm actually a paid subscriber. But you can see that it's created 4 options for a toy car on the roof. Now, if you want to improve this, then you need to now be a little bit more specific about what you're looking for. So for example, if I want to see the sky, then I would say beautiful photograph of a toy car on a black roof, comma, blue sky, cobblestone road. And I will reiterate something about the sky. So for example, I'll say clouds in the sky. So what I've learned from playing around with this is the best way to get it to do what you want is to repeat yourself. So here, for example, I am repeating sky, and I also have blue sky here. So that'll kind of reinforce the image model that I want to see a sky, basically. And then we can also say people in the street. So I'm doing 2 things here. So I'm reinforcing that I want to see a street. So I've said people in the street, and I've also mentioned cobblestone road. So I'll change this to street. So it's the same thing. And let's see what that comes up with. So what I'm trying to do is zoom out a little, because you can't really tell in some of these that the car's on a roof. So I want to give it a little bit more detail about, the surrounding areas. So it starts to generate something that is on a roof. Okay, so what it's actually done is it's placed the car in the road, in the street, which is not what we want. So now what you have to do is default to Midjourney's, so I'll just say imagine. So it's got a system where you can prioritize certain things in your prompts. So for example, I will remove these and say car on roof and give it a priority of 5. And here I would say black roof. Okay, let me just repeat it. Car on black roof. I'll give it a priority of 4, and then I'll say blue sky. Okay, let's try that. So yeah, as you can see, it is really a matter of trial and error. The more you play around with it, the better you'll become at using it. It's not like an exact science. It takes a bit of practice to get right. But once you do get it right, it's very easy. It's a very easy tool to use. So I'll show you a little bit about how we used it for to generate a character continuously, because I think that's something that people struggle with a lot when they're creating these books. So, as an example, for the Ariana series, which I actually have over here, the way we did it was we generated a bunch of little girls until we found the one we loved. And then you can use that image as a seed for other images, right? So, as an example, we've got this photo here. So once you've generated this photo, you can right click it, copy image address. And once you copy the image address, if I paste this in my browser, you can see that it's a URL link to the actual image. So you can actually give Midjourney that URL. For example, if you see here, I've given Midjourney, if I open this link, you'll see it's a link to this image. So I've given Midjourney this image that it has generated and said, using this image, create a beautiful 4-year-old black girl. And then I tell it to do specific things like, talking on the phone, whereas the original image, she was not talking on the phone. It will now use that image as a seed, and you can start to see it rendering, the girl holding a phone. Another example is this one. So my input was this image again, same image as before. But this time I told it that the girl is now laughing with 4 African children. And then I gave it context of where they are. So blue sky, brown street. And then again, you reiterate on that point that you want to see kids. So 4 African children, curly hair, sunny day, etc. And it'll generate some options for you. So in the end, we went with the option you see here, because that's basically exactly what I wanted. So you can see how you can start to use your character in a repetitive way to generate more and more images for your book. So that's Midjourney in a nutshell. If you guys have any, okay, so we've got a question from Diana here. So we used to have the seed off. Now it's not working for me anymore. Maybe Diana can shed light here. So you used to be able to send this image as like put a reaction to it, like an envelope reaction. Then Midjourney would send you details of that image. Part of that, those details would be a seed. But now it doesn't do that anymore. I don't know why. I think maybe that feature was killed, or I don't know. But for me, the seed like wasn't working anymore. But fortunately, I was still able to produce the same results just using the URL of the image, even without the seed of that image. So yeah, thanks, Dana. That's a great point. So Martin is saying it really is difficult to have pictures in different poses. Yeah, absolutely. I found it struggles a lot with cell phones, for example. I don't know why, but generating this girl holding a cell phone or any character holding a cell phone has proved to be very difficult for me. But producing that character in different situations, fortunately for us, it's become quite good at that, and we've become quite good at prompting it to do that. So you can see, for example, this character, we were able to generate a sad version of her, a version of her with her cousins or friends, with her contemplating, smiling in her bedroom, in a dynamic pose, smiling. So yeah, it really does work once you get the hang of it. Like I said, we also did like reading a book. So yeah, it is hard, but once you get into the swing of it, it's all just about how you manipulate the prompt and reinforce certain actions that you want that character to perform. So it's all about reinforcement. Like if you wanted the character to jump in the air, just reinforce that, you want a dynamic shot, little girl jumping in the air, Ariana, black African girl in the air, blue sky, brown shoes. So you try to describe the scene in a repetitive way so it generates your desired output. So that is Midjourney in a nutshell. There are a lot of videos on YouTube. Shout out to Diana as well. If you guys want to follow Diana, they've got a course they're working on, I believe, for Midjourney. So as soon as that comes out, I'll share it with you guys. It's a really great resource to learn the ins and outs of Midjourney. Highly recommended. Cool. So that is the AI tools, which is this design phase. Now we'll jump quickly to the publish phase. So once you have your book and you have all your story and you've got your images and you now want to package it into a book, if you remember on the tools, I mentioned that I was using InDesign for the layout, but you can also use Word. What I recommend is let me share this here. Okay. All right. So I'm on lulu.com, which is one of the publishers that I use. So in order to publish your book, you can use these print on demand services like Lulu or Amazon Kindle publishing, direct publishing. So essentially you just upload a PDF to them and they will print and ship the book whenever someone buys it. So this is amazing because you don't need a lot of capital to purchase, books in bulk and then sell them. You literally print on demand. If someone buys the book, they print it for you. So it's really low cost in that you don't have any upfront costs. Like except for in my case, my only upfront cost was the software, right? So yeah, I really highly recommend Amazon, KDP, and Lulu. So if you go on Lulu, going back to book design, they've got a lot of great resources that helped us. So they've got a lot of videos on how to publish, how to lay out your book, how to work with their templates. And you can also download templates very easily from their website. So if you go to lulu.com/publishing toolkit, I actually ended up using these same templates for Amazon, which was amazing because it saved me a lot of time. So if you go to book design templates, you select your book size. I will use, for example, the one we used, which is the square format. Oh, actually, let's do A4 because that's probably a more universal size. So you select A4, click download, and it downloads this zip folder with the Lulu book templates. And inside, let me move it over here. Okay, let's see if you can see. No, you can't see. Okay, well, you'll have to take my word for it. So inside the folder, we've got 4 other folders. So Adobe PDF export presets, book creation guide PDF, cover templates, and interior templates. So cover templates are essentially exactly like that. It's just a template for the cover of your book based on the size that you would have selected. And interior templates is a separate template for the interior of your book. So you're going to have 2 PDFs, one PDF for your cover, one PDF for your interior. Highly recommend you use Lulu for these templates because they do have Microsoft Word templates as well in there. If you obviously can't use InDesign, because most of us can't use InDesign. So that is Lulu. Highly recommend you download templates there. Unfortunately, I don't know why I can't share my screen. So I can't show you my InDesign, but what I will try to do is open my PDF within Chrome. Then you'll be able to see it. Let's give that a shot. So I will show you an example of one of the interior layouts. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I'll just show you the beginning. Obviously, this is a commercial book, so I don't want to show you all of it. So inside the template, I've laid it out. An important page to note is this page, which has all your publishing info. Very important that you get this right. So your ISBN is in here, all your copyright information, copyright disclaimer, your authors, very important, because your authors that are listed here have to be the exact same authors that you declare when you're publishing the book. So it's those little details that I recommend you pay attention to, and just watch the videos on the Lulu website about how to actually create the book, and it'll definitely help. So yeah, this is, see if I can do 2-page view. Not what I expected. So yeah, this is essentially the layout. It looks better in when it's the correct 2 pages. It's not doing the correct 2 pages. But yeah, this is essentially how we lay it out. And then you upload this to, and we laid this out using their book templates. So once that's done, you go on Lulu, which I will now show you. So now we are done with the design step, and you've got your book laid out in the template. Oh, sorry. Question from Inderjeet. What is the ISBN for? So your ISBN is essentially what publishers use to track your book. So if I go back to my PDF, actually, no, I need to open the cover. Okay, so if I open, where is the cover? Okay, I can open this one. Okay, so if you see on the back of my cover, I have a barcode, which is essentially the same as the ISBN number. So your ISBN essentially is what they use to generate the barcode that goes on the back of your book. And this is what publishers around the world can use to actually track your book. So yeah, it's a mandatory thing to have if you're doing any print-on-demand book publishing. Hope that answers your question. So Martin is saying Amazon has those templates available as well. Yeah, they do. So I actually just found that Lulu's templates were better. That's why I ended up using Lulu's templates. Yeah, I guess that's why. Cool. So if you go on Lulu, you create an account. I will just sign in because I've already got an account. And first thing you do is go to your projects and you create a new project. So if I go to create a new project, you'll see some options here. So I'll go with print book. The goal is to upload to my account and purchase copies. Nope, I want to publish my book with Lulu. So global distribution means in Lulu's case, you will publish the book through Lulu, but they will distribute your book as well on, like it says here, 40,000 other global retailers using their distribution service. So if you look at, in our case, for example, if I go to our website, we're actually publishing our book in 2 places. So Lulu does the hardcover, and shout out to our new website. So Lulu does the hardcover and Amazon does the paperback. This is simply because Amazon didn't have a hardcover option for the square format book that we had. So we went with Lulu for hardcover, Amazon for paperback. But what's amazing is, even though they are published on two different platforms, Amazon will actually consolidate all those two versions onto one page. So you can see the hardcover version, which actually comes from Lulu. Because I have this global distribution ticked for my book, Lulu will distribute the book to Amazon as well. So when Amazon found the book, it actually combined it with the one that I'd published with Amazon. That takes about 4 weeks. It doesn't happen instantaneously. So don't be surprised if for a period of about 2 to 3 weeks, if you can see your two books separately, because that was the case for us. It took them about a month to combine them into the options you see here. So, like I said, hardcover for us is Lulu because Amazon did not have hardcover for our size. Basically, that's why. So global distribution, and then you set your book details. So before I do this, actually, I won't go through the whole process. But what I did want to show you is the pricing calculator, which essentially is the same process like selecting what type of book you want to publish. So if you select print book, your size will select A4. Page count will start maybe 30. Premium color. So if you're using Midjourney for the images, right, then you're probably going to want premium color option. So we'll select premium color. Paper type, a nice coated white, which is this glossy, nice paper. Binding size, style, we'll select hardcover, but you can see the other options here. And once you select the cover finish, so glossy is this nice, let me make myself bigger here. So this is an example of the the Lulu hardcover. So you can see the cover is hard and it's quite glossy, which is amazing quality. Inside, you can see the double spread, and you can start to see some of the image quality. It's hard to do this. And the print quality is amazing. Highly recommend Lulu. So, and then this is the ISBN we mentioned over there with the barcode. So that is essentially the settings you're picking here. So after choosing all those options, it'll actually tell you how much it'll cost to print each book. So because it's a hardcover, it's quite, it's more expensive. So it's $15 for the hardcover. If I go back and select saddle stitch, this is the cheapest option, I believe, or one of the cheapest options. And the print cost goes down to $9. So remember, this is the print cost. It's not how much you will actually list it for. So as you're publishing a book, you actually, if you scroll down here, you can calculate the retail revenue for yourself. So if your revenue goal is 5, then it'll show you the list price for your book on Lulu. So if I go back to our website, I can show you how our Lulu sell page looks like. So yeah, so you can see here the list price is 34. And as you've seen, the actual print cost will be around half that price. So it is quite expensive to print the hardcover version, but it is totally worth it. Like, as you can see, the quality is incredible. Like, I couldn't have asked for anything better. So that is Lulu, and Amazon has a very similar journey. I won't go through it all today, but if you go on Amazon direct publishing, you'll see it has some options there that are very similar. But the only thing that'll differ are the paper size and the print options that you get on Amazon. Cool. Any questions so far about listing the book on Amazon and Lulu? Just let me know, because I think this is one of the most important parts of the whole process, right? Cool. So moving on. So what we've covered now is publishing the book. Let me see if I missed anything here. Generate ISBN, lay out the book. Yeah, that's basically it. So it's at this stage. I would recommend, like I said, oh, thanks, Diana. What I recommend is at this stage, once you're close to publishing, start to generate interest. So we've done a few things around this. So we've told family and friends. I think that's probably one of your first customer base, your family and friends. We've also started to create our social profiles. And as you can see, we've set up our website. So this is what I was saying in terms of you might need web WordPress or Wix.com to set up your website. I happen to be a web developer as well, so I was able to do our website myself. But we're not all as fortunate. I know it is very fortunate that we're able to do everything on our own end to end. Question from Martin. I would like to know how you got the pictures of the open book that you use for the thumbnail of this stream. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good question, Martin. So that is the Photoshop part that I mentioned as one of the bonus tools. So there are things called mockups. So if you search for book mockup, you will see all of these free kind of download resources for book mockups. Let me actually see, which one did I use? Square book mockup. Let me Google this. Okay, this is exactly the one. So I use this free Square book mockup. So it's basically a Photoshop file where you upload your inner pages. So I uploaded my spread, which was, I don't know if I'll be able to find it easily, but it's essentially what you see in my thumbnail for this live stream is essentially what I exported. So let me actually show you that. Okay, so this is one of the pages, right? And this is, oops. And this is the other page. So all I did was upload these two pages on the left and right of this template. And then it also has the ability to change the inner part of this book. So I uploaded one of my pages there as well. And the end result, what Martin's talking about, is this. So you can see I exported my pattern and those two pages, and it created the markup for me. So yeah, it's a very quick win to generate these. Question from my mom. Hi, Mom. Can one redo a self-published book so it's listed on Amazon? Yes, you can. The answer is you can. So all you'd need to do is just generate a new ISBN when you when you upload the book on Amazon. You just create an ISBN that's specific for Amazon, and then you can list your book there. It will literally cost you no money at all to do it. I will get in touch with you, Mom, and I know the book you want to list. We'll do it together. What is the aspect ratio you used for this image? Oh, yes. Great question, Diana. So for the entire book, I used the aspect ratio 7:4. Because I was using a square format book, I needed something that could span the entire cross section. I mean, span the entire 2 pages, like you see here. So using 7.4 allowed me to output something that you could frame in two squares, right? So if I find that image, just give me a moment. Yeah, here it is. So you can almost see the two squares, right? So if I cut this image in half a little bit and then just zoom it in to crop it a little, the result is this. So yeah, for square format, I was using the 7:4 ratio. Canva has a book mockup feature as well. Oh, thanks, Deloitte. So tip here for your question, Martin. Oh yes, Martin. The question was it free? Yes, it was free. This template that I showed you is a free Photoshop template. So if you just search for, actually, if you just go to mockups/design.com, you can get this mockup for free. Or like Deloitte said, if you go on Canva, you can also find some book mockups there. The reason I love this one is it's a really high quality square book mockup. So that's what I'm going to be using. Will we be able to review this information after the live event? Yes, Tanisha, you will be able to see everything still on LinkedIn. So it's available on LinkedIn even after the live stream and on my YouTube channel as well. I can put the link to the YouTube channel here in the comments for your convenience. Just a second. Okay, so for those who want to see all of this again, which you definitely would want to, just go on the YouTube link after this and you can see it. So that is how I did the mockups. And where were we? Okay, so what I was talking about is the marketing, which is the last bit. So highly recommend you do certain things for your marketing. So obviously creating social media accounts is important. But also equally important is creating a platform that you own that you can use to publish your book and highlight specific things that you want to highlight, right? So this is our website. And you can see a few things going on here. So I am showing you which books we're working on. So currently we're working on this Dylan Discovers Shauna book. We've just finished the story for it and should be publishing it this weekend. So you can look forward to that. And another thing we're doing is explaining our mission. Because we did this book for a specific reason. And it's, I think if you guys remember the interview I did around this, you'll know kind of why we created the book. And this also then helps you with SEO. So you can see that if people are Googling Shauna books, using our website, not just Amazon, we're able to own that search, right? That search result through SEO. So having your own website, highly, highly recommended. But it also allows you to show off your book in a way that Amazon couldn't, right? So in this example, we created a nice landing page for the book with all the buying options for it directly on here. So yeah, that's been amazing. Another thing we've also done is we've created a community around the mission we're trying to push. So if you go on iloveshauna.com, feel free to put in your email and we'll send you special offers when we release the new book, as well as notifications about future books we're working on, etc. So having your own website allows you to start to build a community around the work you're doing. Another important thing with setting up your own website is this next part. So yeah, I think I'll just quickly mention this. So what I've been saying throughout is if you're not a designer, definitely hire a professional to do this for you. especially when it comes to the book layout, cover design, because you are competing against millions of books online. So the better quality your book is and the better presented it is, the higher likelihood of success. Question from Tanish. What mistakes are done by new authors which should be taken care of while publishing your first book? Wow, this is a great question. In my experience so far, it would be not hyping up your book before you finished it. So, what I would say here is start building up a community around your work before you actually finished. Get pre-orders set up on Lulu and Amazon. You can actually set up pre-sales before you've even finished the book, so you can start to generate hype around the book's drop date. You can create, a pre-sales, which also helps to generate confidence for yourself and to tweak your marketing to see what works before the book even comes out. Another thing is, I would say, over investing. So don't overinvest in like software, paying people, and all this stuff before you know what you're doing. I think that's a pitfall we all, like, people usually face, even in business, where if you too much money sometimes is a bad thing. I think for us, our advantage was, like I said, it literally cost us $10 to do the first book because all I needed to pay for was the software. Everything else we were able to do ourselves. So I would say another mistake you should avoid is overspending. So bootstrap as much as you can initially to make sure that you're happy with the end result before you actually start splashing money. Deloitte said you need a book launch strategy. I can help with that. Wow, cool. So we've got a professional here. Deloitte helps people with book launch strategies. Yeah, I think this is a key one. If you guys are serious about your books, definitely have a look and have a chat with Deloitte. Any other AI tool besides Midjourney to create such images? Yes, there are quite a few. So Deloitte's mentioned here as well, futuretools.io, if you want to check out other AI tools. But the ones that I've had access to are Stable Diffusion to create images, as well as Adobe's Firefly. So you can have a look at those. I've just found that Midjourney is probably one of the easiest to just start playing around with, because you can sign up for free and start playing around with it. Cool. So yeah, hire a pro. So what I was talking about here, I think I've mentioned this already. Should create a website, definitely. Create your social media pages. Set up analytics for your website. So this is something that we did early on. I will just quickly show you that. So if you see here, this essentially shows us the analytics around our website. So this is a great tool for us because it actually tells us what things we should optimize on our website, and we're tracking certain metrics as well. It also helps to gather confidence for yourself as an author, because you can actually track which countries people are viewing your website from, etc. And then you can target your marketing accordingly. So yeah, definitely setting up Google Analytics on your personal website is definitely highly recommended. It can literally make or break the success of your project. So that is analytics. And the other thing was build a community. So as you saw, we're starting a newsletter now, in order to always be in touch with our customer base and people that are interested in the project we're working on. I think this would probably be, Deloitte can tell you a bit more about this if you reach out to her, because I think it's really important to generate and build a community, because it's that community that will help you spread the word about your book. And that is the end. Thank you very much. It's exactly an hour. So I'm happy we didn't go over an hour. Any questions before I sign off? Any last questions or any questions that I missed? Just going through the chats. Let me overlay them here. No questions. Awesome. All right. So thanks so much, everyone, for joining. As usual, have an amazing weekend. And question from Nancy. What is your YouTube? Sure. Here is my YouTube. I've put the link in the comments here. I hope you can see it. Audience identification is key. Oh yeah, so Deloitte makes a really good point. And I'll give you an example of audience identification for us. So because our book is targeted towards kids, like Zimbabwean kids overseas, because the issue is when Zim kids are living abroad, they're not immersed in the Zim culture. And obviously then they're not immersed in the Zim language. So that's why our URL itself is I Love Shona. So Shona is the language we speak back home in Zimbabwe. And because this is our mission and this is our audience, we've identified that our audience is Zimbabwean people living outside Zimbabwe, right? So in the diaspora. So it's very easy for us to build targeted marketing campaigns around that audience because we've specifically identified it. So yeah, you're definitely right. Cool. Thank you. I think now it's all thank you messages, so it's all done. Hamid, salam, brother. So good to see you. Hamid says most important is getting the story right, and I think you've nailed it. Oh, thanks, bro. I hope you're okay. All right, that's it. Thanks, guys. Have a good evening. Have a good weekend, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.